What is it like being a Jamaican in Ireland? Hi, I'm Xavier Murphy, founder of Jamaicans.com. Today on Jamaicans to the World, we talk to Ethlyn and Sherene, who both live in Ireland. Welcome, ladies. How are you doing?
Thank
Hello.
you.
Thanks,
How are you
David.
guys doing today?
Yeah.
Doing well.
Good, good, good. Well, let me get into the first question. So, where in Jamaica? I'll start with you, Sherene. Where in Jamaica are you from?
Oh, from Kingston. We're originally from a place called Somerset in St. Andrew, and then we moved down into Kingston. That's where,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. And Ethlyn?
Oh, I'm from the famous and the best Spanish town, St. Catherine.
I'm from St. Catherine. Well, I was born in
Oh,
Kingston, but I'm from St. Catherine too. Lived most of my life in St. Catherine in Portmore. So,
oh, right. We're neighbors.
yes, yes. I used to travel to Spanish Town a lot. My mom used to have her main office in Spanish Town.
Okay. I used to work in Portmore, Bridgeport.
Oh, wow. I was in Edgewater.
Okay. Around the corner.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So, well, here's my next question, and then I'm gonna start with you, Ethlyn, on this particular question. So,
Okay.
how did you end up living in Ireland? Tell us a story.
Oh, wow. You really want to know?
Yes.
Well, do you know what it is? It was actually, I was in college and the Joyce program and all. So I've heard of it the year before. Didn't even have a clue what is Ireland. So for me, it was a frightening experience. I was like, no. And then the second year, I was doing another course, and they mentioned it again and said, "Oh, it's a lovely little island. You really want to go there." And I said, "Okay, let me try it for the traveling." Well, it was more so the money than the traveling, to be honest. So then I said, "Okay, I'll give it a shot." And that's how I end up there for the work and travel program. And end up there. I think Sherene was ahead of me, a year ahead of me in Ireland. And I met her through my sister. So it
Okay.
was a group of youngsters roaming town.
Yeah.
So how many years ago are we talking?
For me, it's like 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Wow.
I
And Sherry,
know.
Sherry, how did you end
Well,
up here?
I came on the same program that Ethlyn came over when I went to Michael's Teachers College. So when we finished, I said, okay, I would go for a few months before I start back work again. And just explored somewhere. And then I had to choose somewhere, and I didn't really want to go to America or UK. Everybody goes to America, Canada, and UK. So I wanted to go somewhere that was different, and
Mhm.
Ireland was there. So I chose Ireland. So I came here in 2000, July the 10th, 2000, and still here 20 years later.
Wow.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So I have a question. What do you like? And I'll start with Shireen this time. What do you like the most about Ireland?
I think one of the reason why I stayed was, to be honest, the peace and quiet.
Mm.
When I was in Jamaica, I used to live off Hagley Park, Walton, off Hagley Park Road. It was so, you wake up every morning to crime and somebody dying, and, it was just this constant bad news all the time. And it does get you depressed, So when I came here and it was just peaceful, there was no crime of people killing each other on the road. There was no one, you're not walking, crunching your bag, you were just
Mm,
quite free. It was so peaceful and free. And I was like, I kind of like this. I like to be able to walk on the road any time of the night without
right.
worry. Go anywhere without worry. Leave, forget your key in the front door, and your neighbors are there to protect your stuff. That was what I felt when I came here. That was totally different from home, which was a part of my reason for staying.
Okay. Okay.
And my husband, that was another big one as well. So, yeah.
Oh.
Ethlyn, what about you? What do you love about Ireland?
Pretty much the same thing. It's very peaceful. A little bit uphill now, but then, it was really, really peaceful because what I did, I spent a couple of months and then I went back home because I was still attached to my job. I
Uh-huh.
was then teaching in Maypen in Garvey Maceo. But I'd be honest with you, Xavier, when I start doing the maths in terms of wages,
Mm-hmm.
and even though I was doing a mediocre job in Ireland at the time, but when I compare it to the job back home, dressing up and looking cool and going to teach and being Miss Teacher, but I wasn't making nothing.
Mm.
So then I like, you know what? I'm gonna drop these heels. You know, put the trainers on, and I'm going back to Ireland. And on top of that, it was peaceful. So it was really, for me, it was the peace and the money. When
Okay.
I compare the wages, I was earning like 60,000 ahead of Jamaica doing what we call mediocre job compared to then. So yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
So here's my next question, and I want to start with you, Ethlyn. What do
Okay.
you least like? And I have an idea. I think I have an idea what you're gonna say. But what do you least like about
Oh,
Ireland?
weather.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Oh, the weather, Xavier. You could have 4 in one day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was Sherene and I were talking before and I said, yeah, I saw three seasons in one day.
Yeah.
Sherene, what about you? What are you gonna say the least?
The weather, you never get used to it. No
No.
matter what, you cannot get used to it.
Mm.
You leave your house, the place looks sunny. By the time you get in your car and go down the road, it starts to pour in rain. By the time you reach work, it might start to snow, hailstones. It's just this constant. So you
Yeah.
always have to be prepared for this weather. That's just the way the weather is.
Mm.
So
Wow.
I think the weather has a lot of effect on the Irish their mood as well. Because then when
Mm-hmm.
it gets sunny, you get sun like 2 or 3 times a year, like
Mm.
proper sunshine. When they do, that's when they all cheer up. You know? Yeah. But the weather is a big thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here's my next question for you. And I know, especially, living abroad, sometimes you get these moments, these, your Jamaican moments where somebody says you're Jamaican and then something else sometimes tends to come after that. You're Jamaican, do they do or this or something,
Yeah.
something, and it typically is funny. Some people may get offended, but if you take it in stride, you take it as funny. So
Yeah.
I want to start with you, Sherene. What is that moment where someone discovered you're Jamaican and they said something and it was a little funny?
It's funny, like I remember when we came here first, the minute you say you're Jamaican, they were like, "Oh my God, Bob Marley!" Right? I was like, "Okay, great, yeah." I learned a lot about Bob Marley when I came here. Okay, and then we went out one night to a nightclub, and they were like, "Oh, there's Jamaicans in the house. There's lots of Jamaicans in the house, and we're gonna play some Jamaican music." I know, as a young Jamaican, because we're in our early 20s, you're expecting great Jamaican music, and they came out with One Love. I was like, and the son was like, "That is not what we expected."
Oh, you're expecting some up tempo.
Yeah, we expected the latest at that time, and we're like, so every time we go, that's it. Everybody just keep, and the next thing they're like, "Oh, do all Jamaicans take ganja?" And I'm like, "What?" No. but
What about
they're fascinated by us. That's the thing.
good?
Yeah.
What about you, Ethlyn? What's that moment?
Oh, my moment. Pretty much in and around what Sherene said, but I give you one which was really, really frightening for me. I was walking down the street one day and this fella was looking at me. So, you know, the way you're fresh and, you know, they're staring at you. I'm like, why does boy I look for me so far? So the guy turned around and said to me, what you say?
Oh.
So I was like, oh, you come from down here? And them say, yeah, man, so go and talk again.
That is funny.
Yeah, that was my most defining moment, you know.
Oh,
when you
boy.
get into it and thinking that the next person behind you don't know what's going on. And you
Exactly.
start talking the patois. And then
Wow.
somebody out of the blues come and say, what you just say? Yeah.
So here's my next question for you all. What was the biggest adjustment you had to make, apart from the weather? What was the biggest adjustment you had to make when you got to Ireland? It may have been, you know, anything. What's the biggest adjustment?
The one for me, I think, was a culture shock. Was I finally realized that I was Black. But no, seriously, you know you were Black, but it was never thrown in your face. You were you read about things in you know, when you read about things in your lessons at school. You read about it in history, but you never really face it.
Right.
You know, and when I came here first, you know, we were doing, because we're only here for a few months. You know, our visa was only for 4 months work visa. So I was working in McDonald's when I came here first. And, you know, and that was when I actually start facing that racism. Because I was on the night shift, you get all the junkards coming in and they will just tell you everything. And at that time also was when there was a massive inflow of Nigerians coming into the country and, you know, the African countries coming in. So they were just bombarded with Black people at that time, which was really, and, you know, I've actually, now that I'm looking back at it, the way I dealt with it, I kind of felt a bit embarrassed, because then I realized one night that if I say to people, I am Jamaican, their attitude changed towards me. So I started using that, you know, I'll make sure that I have on something that is Jamaican on my uniform.
Right.
So everybody knew that I was Jamaican, because, you know, there were so many different nationalities and Blacks in the shop working, and the racism was just so much. So, you know, saying that kind of just helped to quench it down a bit, because their attitude changed. As I said, they're all in love with Bob Marley. So, you know, that was the biggest thing I had to face. And then,
biggest adjustment.
Yeah. And when you go to look for housing and people see that you were Black, they tell you that it was no longer available. You know, it was a shock to the system, you know, because we never had that experience in Jamaica, you know, into that level.
Right. It's about the money. It's who has the money in a lot of cases. Not saying there's not some racism. Right. Not saying there isn't some of that, but, you know, because there is, and there is some racism, classism, and so on. But, you know, Ethlyn, what about you? What was your biggest adjustment?
My biggest adjustment was to go back to college, because at that stage I had finished college, you know what I mean, and I was working back home, and you know, I was basically working as a care assistant in hospital when I came here. So for me, I didn't want to stay at that level, so I couldn't teach straight away here, because it was a thing of you have to know Irish, which I don't have a clue about. So I had to change my profession completely.
Oh, wow.
And at one stage I had to go to England and then come back. So yeah, that was my biggest adjustment, you know, being here. But having said that, I chose something that I completely love anyway. So yeah.
Good. All right, my next question is this one. So what's your favorite Jamaican food, and can you get it in Ireland?
Oh, Lord. I think mine is always ackee and saltfish. What we do get is the tin ackee.
Okay.
So we never normally used to get it before. So we'd have to go to London and then bring over a big suitcase of Jamaican food when you go, or anybody going over, you fill your car and bring it back. But the Indian shops lately, they have they're local, and you get to really know the owners, and they now start stocking Jamaican food. And since lately, also some of the big supermarkets start bringing in one or two items of Jamaican food, so it's a bit more easier for now for us to get it.
Good.
But yeah.
Good. All right. I can't solve if you're a national dish type of person. So,
Yeah.
Ethlyn, what about you?
Yeah, the good old jerk chicken.
Okay.
So I'll get my chicken as usual, and I'll go on YouTube for the blending.
Okay.
So
So you make
I can't get the
your own.
jar here, so I'll just make my own. So yeah, I have to
Good.
be creative about that.
Yeah,
So
So
then,
you
just
have
like Sherene said, if we don't go over and bring them over, we'll never get it. So
so you don't get the jerk seasoning in the store there?
no, we don't. No.
no.
Oh
But
wow.
lately, there's an African store now that buy 1 and 2 bottles. So they might come up with 6 bottles. So by the time all of us roam, there's nothing left.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh man. Yeah,
that's what
I've done the blending before, but I really say, what? Let me just buy the seasoning and do my own little thing from it.
Yeah.
I mean, I add some stuff to it. My little secrets.
Spice it up.
but yeah, I'm more of that. More of that is what I do. So if someone wants to come to Ireland, what is the one thing you tell them, or one attraction you tell them? You're coming to Ireland, visit this.
Hmm. I say if you're coming to Ireland, a lot of people come to Dublin, but
Right.
I think I'm in love with Kerry. I've been to Kerry like 100 times. It's a beautiful city. It has a lot of Irish cultures there, and it also has a lovely waterfall that reminds me of home. So I just keep going there. But I think Kerry is a lovely place to visit. In Ireland, they do one thing with Ireland. They have a lot of greenery, a
Mm,
lot of green mountains and beautiful,
sorry.
areas for people to see. Yeah, if
What
you're
is there?
especially if you're all into history and all of that.
Yeah.
So can you actually get into this waterfall at Kerry?
You can, yeah. People
Oh
actually
wow.
go in there, yeah. But the water is freezing cold. But
That part.
it's really freezing cold. But a
Yeah.
lot of people they're used to it, so they just do it.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Ethelyn? Where would you say?
Well, I'm a bit of a greenery person. Just like Sherene said, it's historic and a lot of greenery. But there's this park in Dublin here in Bushy Park called Bushy Park,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll. Funny enough, my kids have been going there doing their extra activities, football and stuff, and I only just go to the field. And the other day, I went beyond the field, which has waterfalls, streams. It was amazing. Something to really, really look at. But when you see something and it looks ugly outside,
Yes.
but when you go on in the inside, the beauty of it, that's
Wow.
what that park looks like. Really, really
Wow.
beautiful. Yeah. So,
So, we're winding down. What is the thing you miss the most about Jamaica?
no.
Apart
Beautiful
from the
Jamaica.
sunshine and the beaches. Ah, I guess it's still home, and no matter as much as you make your home here, it's still somewhere that you've longed for. You long for that kind of relaxation. There's a thing about Jamaica where it's not that it's stress free, but it's also, with the beaches, you can get up in the morning and go to the beach, or, it's sunny. And that has a lot to do with your, your old demeanor and everything. So, I kind of miss that part of it, and just going out having fun with friends, to be honest. It's not the same here at all.
What about you, Ethlyn?
I just miss my food and my I just miss my food. When I go home, let's say if I go to Montego Bay, I start at Tasty and work my way in. Yeah. And then I can
Oh,
just
yeah.
be myself. I don't have to be twanging and speaking. I just get away.
Oh,
I love Jamaica. I love our food. I love our language. I love our people.
I,
And
yeah.
so you start from Montego Bay all the way back to Kingston.
all the way back to
you stopping,
King.
you
I
stopping
can
and
have a
saying,
beach on
I
my way.
want, I want this, I want
Yeah.
that, I want this, I want that.
And the kids are the same.
Is it whenever I go to Jamaica, when my uncle they pick me up, they know they have to come with barbecue chicken.
Oh yes.
So we stop at the first Kentucky on that airport road. I'm done, and we have to there because Kentucky here don't have barbecue chicken.
Oh,
So I have to get my bucket of barbecue chicken, and
that
then
Kentucky, it's the best Kentucky in the world.
I want to go
Yes.
home.
You know, I remember once I was in Jamaica and I was leaving to come back to Florida, and I realized I didn't have peppered shrimp yet. I didn't have all of these things. And on the way to the airport, I thought my friend was driving us back, saying, "You're going to have calic." because,
Everything.
because I had to get everything before I get on the plane. I had, you know.
You know
so-
what, Xavier? I love the food so much, right? The other day, I actually missed my flight at the airport because they said I couldn't have my season, I couldn't have my this, and I decided I'm not putting it in the bin, and I'm not leaving it.
Wow.
Oh, it was one drama at the airport.
So you're one of those people that they say you can't carry this mango. You're going to eat that mango right there.
Oh yes.
So here's my final question.
Okay.
Any advice to a Jamaican who is thinking of moving to Ireland? What advice would you give them? One piece of advice you'd give to them?
My advice to anyone who wants to leave Jamaica to come to Ireland is be ready to adapt and adjust. It's a beautiful place, most people are friendly. You will get a little bit of, racism, but at the end of the day, it's not the worst. But
Right.
be ready to adapt and adjust, if you want to stay. Because that's what I had to do at the end of the day. So, yeah, that's it.
Okay. Sherene, any thoughts?
The thing for me is you need to, as they say, adapt, but you need to be willing to learn. And you might have to make up your mind that the job that you have done back home is something totally different that you have to be here because there's so much regulations. Like, I'm a primary school teacher from Jamaica, and I used to teach in Jamaica, but when I came here, I couldn't teach. So for the first few years, for the first 10 years, actually, I wasn't able to teach here because I didn't know that language. So I had to move as Ethlyn into another career path.
Yeah.
Luckily for me, I was able to come back into my career path, and I'm now teaching here. But you have to come to the conclusion that if you're here, and you might have to go back to school, but the opportunity is really good. You can live here, go to school, and make a good, decent life here. If you're willing to work for it, it's not going to be easy. And nothing is easy, but if they're willing to come over, work for it, and the Jamaicans here are very supportive. We help each other as best as we could. I mean, for all of us to survive was because when we came here, we had to okay, is there any other persons that were here on Joyce before us? And they helped us to settle, and we helped others to settle. That was the only way we could, cope. But you have to make up your mind to, you have to work hard at it and decide that you can be anybody that you want to be when you're here.
Good.
The opportunities are here. Yeah.
This wasn't one of the questions. I didn't prepare this other question, but
No.
so for independence, is there like a celebration? I know we're during, now it's COVID, but is there typically a celebration for independence there in the Dublin, in Ireland?
Yeah. Yeah, every year we kind of do an independence party. So we
Okay.
go somewhere and we go to a big independence party and everybody comes dressed up in their Jamaican outfit. We have to order from home. So, anytime anybody's going to Jamaica, oh, you need to bring me my clothes from Jamaica for Independence Day, and we all dress up and we're like, yeah, we're true Jamaicans that day. We've been doing that for years, ever since we've been here. And that was one thing we have never faltered on every single year. For the past 20 years that I've been here, we've been having Independence Day celebration.
Even if it's in someone's backyard.
Anyway,
Wow.
we can have it.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that's great. Well, ladies, listen, I appreciate you all taking the time out to join me. And I wish you all the best. Thanks for the words of wisdom that you have dropped on us about Ireland and what it's like as Jamaicans living there. And again, I know we're in COVID time. Blessings to you all and your family. And again, thank you again for joining us on Jamaicans.com.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Show us some love now. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss a video.